Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey, look what it says. It's Alex, and it's the Ramble. And it goes until midnight tonight on the East Coast of the United States. That puss you're looking at, the puss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all your face, say, right.
Stephen Pearl in Las Vegas. Las Vegas,
I want to
Nevada.
try my art collection, man. Here's Blue Boy getting to the gut for squealing on Mona Lisa, see?
Yeah. See?
I
I had a Siamese cat that I almost named Edward G. Robinson because every time he would talk to me, he'd go, I say, do your impression of Edward G. Robinson, and the cat would talk when I would talk to him. He was very good at it. And I would go, Shabbos, do your impression of Edward G. Robinson, and he would go, yeah.
Yeah, my cat Sam does that a lot.
Yeah. Anyway, excuse me, folks, I'm blowing my nose.
Falling
Allergies.
apart in front of our very eyes. Look at this guy.
Allergies. I don't know. Death is going to be no surprise when it comes. Anyway, this is Stephen Pearl, and he lives in Las Vegas, Nevada, and he's a comedian, which means he's not working. No. In fact, he's taking in a roommate. Do you like the idea of a roommate? No.
Yeah. Nice person. I got my room. She'll have her room. Everybody's happy.
Her room. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Anything going on there?
No.
Oh, no. Okay.
Not of the, with this old tool. My mojo ain't dead, but it sure likes to sleep.
Well, how old is she?
She's, I thought, you shouldn't tell a woman's age. She's older than me.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, you're pretty old.
I'm pretty, probably, you better believe I'm pretty damn
What
old.
are you, 60?
I'm the age Sammy Davis was when he died.
65, maybe? 66?
64.
64.
64.
Was that when Sammy died?
Sammy was 64 in 1990. He was born in 1925. He died in 1990.
Well, let's see. The car crash didn't kill him. The mob didn't.
The mob scooped his eye out for looking at Kim Novak, and that didn't work. So.
No, that they said if you don't get rid of Kim Novak, we're gonna take the other eye.
Oh yeah, so it was no car accident.
At least that's the story, the legend that is told.
I ain't no band leader. It's the story I heard.
Well, that's no. See, trouble is the Godfather created myths.
Sure.
All right. In fact, Sinatra in an interview, because I've been watching a lot of Sinatra on YouTube, and there was an interview he did in which he said, oh, I think it was on the story, the movie they did about him, All or Nothing at All, the documentary, in which he says that, the movie Godfather gave everybody the impression that that's how I got out of my deal with Tommy Dorsey.
Yeah.
And he said, nothing could be further from the truth. He said, they said, I think Walter Cronkite asked him, well, how did it happen? And he said, what happened was the union, AFTRA, went to him and said, if you want to work another AFTRA gig ever again, that's the American Federation of Television, well, AFRA, it was AFRA at the time, radio artists. If you ever want to work radio again, you better let him out of his contract reasonably, because he had a contract that said that Sinatra owed him, what was it, a third of everything he made for the rest of his life.
Same contract, so.
And so Dorsey did the better part of valor. But he said there was nobody going in and saying, we're going to, your brains are going to be on the paper before, if you don't sign.
Either your brains or your signature will be on the contract.
Yeah. Which reminds me, so he said that myths get started by fiction, and that they use me probably as a singer who was looking for a movie, which is true. But then the other part about going to the band leader or talking about going to the band leader and getting me out of, wasn't true.
was all bullshit. They're just for the movie.
Yeah, he said. He finally got out of it. I think he had to pay Dorsey $50,000 or something.
Yeah, it was like a fine or something. But
Yeah. But he wanted to get out of it because he had so many offers to do stuff, and he didn't see his career going anywhere being under the power of Dorsey. So.
Yeah.
But later on in life, I saw there was some kind of concert I think it was at Carnegie Hall, and he introduced Dorsey, who was in the audience, and said, "There's a great man," So apparently they made up at some point.
Yeah, whatever. I don't know.
But Harry James, who was the first band that Sinatra was with, this guy was a prince, because what he said was, when he wanted to go to Dorsey, he said, "I know I have a contract with you, but it's a good move for you, so go with my blessing." And he introduced Harry James in one of these places and said, "Here's a decent, wonderful human being."
Wow. We never threatened his life, I tell you. We weren't going to put his brains on the contract.
Yeah, I mean, when I wanted to get out of my contract at Sirius XM, I sent the mob in, and the people at Sirius XM go, "You don't have to pull out the guns. Here, we'll get rid of them." Yeah. But anyway, so you're getting a roommate.
Yeah.
That's not well. That's what you got to do in this day and age.
Ask the frauds to clean the place good. All the frauds are going to keep the place.
They extended the amnesty for rents in New York again.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, which since I'm not paying rent anyway, because of this whole thing we've been going through, it doesn't affect me. But it would be nice if it did.
Yeah. I paid every month. We had an amnesty, but I decided to keep current.
Well, what they said is there's an amnesty, but if you can pay, if you have the ability to pay, please do. Because a lot of people were still getting a check.
Yeah.
And it'd be very easy for them to say, "Well, I want amnesty."
I don't want amnesty.
And that wouldn't be fair. I mean, I hate to say this because I hate to say this about any landlord, but it wouldn't be safe for the landlord, fair to the landlords. But anyway, listen, last time we talked, we mentioned the name Lenny Clark, a name I haven't heard in years.
Three Kings of Boston.
One of the great comics, but not so much for his act, but for his late night cavorting.
Yeah.
And I told you, the greatest story I've ever heard, and you've heard it too because you made reference to it.
Oh, yeah.
Was that one night he and some friends got drunk in Boston.
Yeah.
And they went to Harvard Square, I think is what it was. It's a place there, and there's a big home there. And that home belonged to Julia Child.
There you go.
And drunken Lenny Clark is screaming at the top of his voice outside her home, "Wake up, bitch, and make me breakfast."
Make us some fucking pancakes, bitch. Come on, wake up there. What the hell is going on outside my window? You're lucky I have some holiday sauce.
Knowing her, she probably laughed at it if she heard it.
Yeah.
"Wake up, bitch, and make me breakfast." Classic.
Classic Lenny. He also stole a city bus once.
What?
He stole a city bus and drove it. Lenny's done some wild things.
There are a bunch of crazy people in Boston.
Oh, very crazy, very crazy.
We got a whole bunch of acts from Boston and San Francisco. We got Goldthwait came from Boston.
Yeah.
Tom Kenny came from Boston. Who's SpongeBob SquarePants.
Down there, ka-ching.
Probably more successful than any of the comedians I ever had on.
Amazing.
I mean, can you imagine the residuals he's getting?
Ka-ching.
Yeah.
He's not taking it in a room.
I told him the story once when I had him on the show, and I said I saw a little kid and he was wearing a SpongeBob SquarePants shirt, right? And I said, "I know SpongeBob." And the kid looked back at me and went, "Sure you do."
Sure you do.
But I do. I know SpongeBob. You know SpongeBob.
I know SpongeBob. I don't brag about it, but you know.
But how much money do you figure he's made on that? He's been doing that for what, 20 years?
Something like that, yeah. I don't. Yeah.
And you know, every time they do a toy and there's a voice coming out of the toy,
To that.
it's you know, he gets a big deal out of it. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Ding.
yeah. But that's the business to go into.
Voices, yeah.
Voices, cartoon voices.
Yeah. You can fill in the void.
But all those guys coming out of there were crazy in Boston. I don't know what it was about Boston.
You had Steve Sweeney, and you Don Gavin, you got all those crazy guys.
Kevin Meaney,
Kevin Meaney.
who was maybe he was the one comic, and all deference to you because you're very funny, and all the other people I had on a regular basis were funny. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had them on.
Yeah.
But Kevin Meaney was the only one that I had to beg to stop
Ah.
because I was hurting so much
Oh, he was a
from
silly
laughing. I mean, and he was relentless. He wouldn't stop.
Uh-huh.
You know, if he saw that your gut was hurting, he
Yeah.
would just keep going. And, you know,
Yeah.
we're big pants people, you know, and things like
Yeah.
that. And stuff that wasn't in of itself funny. It was attitudinal comedy. But
Yeah.
he was amazing. He died,
Oh.
he died on us. Went and died.
Yeah, just sat down on his couch and that was it.
I think it was a stroke or heart attack.
Or just, I don't know. I don't know what it was.
Just boom, he's
He
gone.
was here, then he wasn't here. That's
Yeah.
where he goes.
Yeah.
Good way to go. The Bing Crosby way. You dead before you hit the ground. It was
Yeah.
a great game. Blah, 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 blah.
What old comics do you watch?
Old comics.
I mean, really, not yeah.
Old
Old,
now than doing it.
You know-
Are there any? Everyone out here.
no, I mean not before your era. Okay,
Uh huh.
did you watch any comics who
Oh,
influenced
sure.
you?
Growing up, I watched them all. I liked pretty much everyone except Jack Carter. I didn't like him.
I didn't like Carter either.
Yeah, he just came off like a real obnoxious
He
asshole.
also came off about in a way that you went, well, what is funny about Jack Carter?
Yeah, his material. He put it over. He put all his energy into his material, but his
Yeah.
material sucked.
Yeah.
But he made it work somehow. I've seen him kill. But
People don't know who we're talking about, but go look up Jack Carter. No,
Jack
don't
Carter,
don't
Madonna of this era.
don't waste your time. Not funny.
Oh wait, forget Jacob. But I liked Myron Cohn a lot. I remember him following the Beatles the second week when they did Sullivan.
And he did okay, didn't he?
He did really well. I like Frank Gore.
Oh, I found out something from Shecky about those Beatle appearances.
Huh?
Did you know that all the songs the Beatles did on that first show were pre-recorded?
No, those are live, brother. That didn't sound pretty. Oh, the music maybe, but
Nope.
nothing.
Nope. Them, pre-recorded. There was a reason why. He knew the girls were going to scream,
Huh?
and he wanted girls to come in and scream.
Uh-huh.
So he said, put them on and recorded them with that audience. And then all the girls left because there was no reason to stick around. They don't want to stick around for Myron Cohn. And they brought in more audience and did the rest of the show.
How about that?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I heard. Because did you ever notice that if you watch it, they come on first. He always put,
They come on first, and they were last.
and they were last.
Yeah.
But in between, there's no screaming. There's none of that.
Oh.
You know. And plus, if you're Myron Cohn and you got to follow the Beatles with the screaming girls and everything,
He did very well.
you're not going to do well, no matter how good you are.
Yeah.
I mean,
And,
would you want to follow the Beatles?
Frank Ocean followed him the first week, and they kicked
Yeah.
ass. So.
Yeah, here's the funny comedy of Stephen Pearl right after
Thank
the
you, man.
Beatles.
Plus of funny places. Why do they go to the terminal? Thank you. Right now, get the fuck off. Bring those four guys back on again.
Yeah. But I mean, I was just wondering who. I mean, like Benny. You liked Benny, didn't you?
Oh, like I wish you could see it. I got a picture of him on my wall. Somebody.
He's a
painted
god. He was a god. He was a comedy god.
A Beatles poster, and I got Jack Benny, the best band, the best comedian on my wall.
Yeah. And Bob Hope as a stand-up wasn't bad at all.
Oh no, he could in the 40s and 50s he could riff like a motherfucker. And when he got older, he kind of slowed down and wasn't very good.
Well,
hey, Mexico, boy, that Vietnam War is wrong.
You're right. But in the early days, I tell comics to watch him.
Yeah.
You know,
Gotta love him.
he was the king of what I call there's a couple of things that make you good on stage, and one of which is called authority. You tell a joke, it may not be funny, but you'll look at the audience and tell them it is, and they laugh at it.
So that's what Jack Carter's secret was.
Yeah, I
His
guess.
material was horrendous, man.
Yeah.
But he put it over.
Yeah.
He put the energy into it.
Yeah. Well,
So
we should reminisce about this next time because
Another
it's
time, the great Jack Carter.
few
the
other
man
other
no rock was
comics.
never met.
But that, ladies and gentlemen, is the musical stylings of Stephen Pearl coming
Whoa,
to you live and direct.
whoa! Swinging with Tony, baby. How are you? Whoa, Tony. Love to sing.
Yeah, and what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, including Stephen Pearl.
That's right. No one's going anywhere. I'm staying right here. But my roommate will be living right there behind me.
See you next week.
Over there.
See you next week.
See you next week, Alex. Bye.
Now in our 6th year, this is GabNet, the Great American Broadcast Network. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey! Hi, everybody. How are you? This is the Ramble. You know, all day long, I've been tired. I've been just exhausted. I think it has something to do with the radiation stuff that I had. But I'm tired a lot. And then I come and do the show, and I feel peppy and zippy, and I'm ready to go. And then after the show's over, oh, boy. You know, we were talking about Bob Hope there for a moment, and I remember something about Bob Hope. He did a Letterman show, and I'm looking at YouTube, and I've got to find it because I'm sure it's there, where he was working in the next studio doing Live at 5, and they said, well, let's bring Bob in here. And they took a shot of the door where he came in, and Bob, if I can kind of do it, was kind of like this. He was kind of hunched over and, you know, not exactly what you would call alive and kicking. Then all of a sudden, Letterman says, and they saw the shot on him, and ladies and gentlemen, look who's here, Bob Hope. And Hope just does this. He's like this, okay? He's coming in like this. He just, boom, he's up. He goes to town. All of a sudden, he's Bob Hope. Before that, he was some old fart who was trying to be Bob Hope. I mean, as soon as they said his name and he knew he was on, he straightened up. And that taught me a great lesson. And I don't know what that lesson is to this day. Anyway, we have a thing here called a citizen panel. And we get them together by taking a bunch of people and putting them on Zoom. If you don't know our Zoom address, you got to call us at Zoom. Just go to gabnet.net, and right there on the right-hand side of the page, about the middle of the page, it says, in order to get on, just Zoom us here. You just click on that. And if you've got a camera on your computer, you don't even have to have Zoom. Zoom does all the heavy lifting. If you have Zoom installed, you get an even better experience. But the fact is that you can still get on just by clicking that. You go to our gabnet.net page. Right below the YouTube that is running is also the address, okay? And also, let me see here. Oh, yeah, if you go to my Facebook page, facebook.com/Alec A. Bennett, there's a link there. So these are all the different ways you can call us using Zoom, which is our new method of operation here. Let me just bring some of these people in. Yeah, they're coming in. And let me see here. Let me then push this. And there's our Zoom panel. All right. Oh, wait, I got to get rid of something here. The jackpot from last night was up. And we certainly don't want that going. That's not. It's not. I always
optimistic.
I always forget to get rid of it when I'm doing the show the next day, so it's there. So excuse me, folks. Now here's our panel. What a motley crew. No, Phil Meyer and the lovely and attractive Robert Natali, and of course our old friend and regular Charlie Wallace from the great state of in the deep heart of Texas, or whatever it is. Oh, here we got Jeff Steins coming in here. Yeah. So how are you all this evening? Everybody perky
Good.
and zippy?
Yeah,
And
good, good.
Today, I officially became a septuagenarian.
70,
Your
huh?
birthday. Oh, yeah.
70 today.
Happy birthday to
Thank
you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Happy
Another
birthday, dear
1950 guy.
Robert. Happy birthday to you.
Don't you owe somebody money now?
That's why I didn't join in.
What do you mean? Don't you own?
Who owns the rights to Happy Birthday?
Oh,
Isn't
oh.
that the estate of the original author or something?
I think wasn't it sold to Michael Jackson?
Really?
I believe Michael Jackson bought it.
I
Wow.
think you're right. I remember
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, I mean it is a song in copyright, and I think one time I played it and I got a copyright violation notice on both YouTube and Facebook.
Let Michael Jackson try to collect the payment.
Well, he does. It's not his song anymore. It belongs to somebody else. He also bought the Beatles catalog.
Yes, he did.
Yes, you did. Yeah.
But that got sold away from him, I think, at some point. I
Because-
forget. I think Paul rebought it or something along those
I'm
lines.
trying to remember. I think Paul rebought the publishing rights.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was broke just before his death, wasn't he? He was pretty broke.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah. So what's
Yeah,
he going
made
to
a
do?
fortune since he died.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So that's yeah. So how you doing, Phil? I wrote Phil a note. You've been a little. You're not as peppy as you normally are.
Well, part of that could be that you don't want me to suck all the oxygen out of the room. And,
Well, that's good. That's
you know,
good.
and get into every conversation, answer every yada yada.
Yeah.
So I just let it go by.
Well, I
in
just
order-
wanted to make sure it wasn't because the stuff that you've been doing for your prostate.
I'm sure that has something to do with it, but
Yeah.
on the other hand, I'm trying to honor your wishes, and
No,
part of that is just
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. You've still been nasty. I mean,
I can't help that.
you've still been America's. Everybody calls somebody America's something, and I guess you're America's motherfucker.
Yeah, really. Now, can you ask everybody who their favorite old comedian was, like you did Pearl? Is
I'm
everybody-
afraid to hear who your favorite comedian was.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Oh, jeez, I got Belle Barth.
What?
Belle Barth. Yeah.
She was okay, but she
I
wasn't.
She was very cutting edge, and
I felt Belle Barth was one of these party record comedians. They put out party records. There was
Yeah, but
another
she-
one too. There was another woman who you probably never heard of who sang dirty songs called Ruth Wallace.
no, but Belle Barth had a club in Miami on 6th Street in Collins, 16 Collins.
And she had a bawdy act. She talked dirty, and
I, as a kid, I thought that was, it was great stuff.
Really? I always considered her kind of,
Yeah. Well, maybe you had to be Jewish,
Well, some people will say it's easier to be funny by being dirty.
Yeah.
I always appreciated clean comics because they got their laughs in a legitimate fashion.
Well,
Okay.
my nephew is a comedian, and he's a clean comedian,
Mhm.
and he hardly gets booked.
I'll tell you, you want to know a completely clean comedian? Who's probably the most successful comedian in comedy?
Who's that?
Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah, I was sorry.
Find me a
Yeah.
find me a dirty joke in Jerry Seinfeld's act.
I've never seen that in person.
No, but you don't have to see it in person. You can go online and see his act.
Yeah.
Completely clean.
Yeah. But who's the guy that played in Full House, that San Francisco, and he was a San Francisco comedian?
Bob
Saget.
Bob Saget. Well, Bob
Bob
Saget was, in fact, the filthiest comic I've ever
Yes,
known.
yes.
I saw him in L.A. in 1982.
Yeah, he was at the UC Theater performing, and he wouldn't allow photographs. But he was filthy, and
Yep. I loved it.
nothing but filthy.
Yeah, I mean he was quite dirty, and he was good at it too. He was very good at it. When I would tell people after the Full House thing happened and all that, that Bob Saget was one of the funniest comedians and dirtiest comedians I've ever known, they'd all look at me like I came from outer space. You know,
Right.
like, how could that be? You know? He didn't tell those jokes around the Olsen twins, but, I mean...
Maybe he did.
Yeah.
Now, there was an actor that died that was a friend of one of the Olsen twins, and this actor overdosed or something in his apartment
What?
down in L.A. You remember?
No.
No?
No. I don't know anything negative about the Olsen twins.
Yeah.
There's never been anything negative about them so far as you remember when they got drunk and drove a car into a tree or anything like that, They
That Philip something, it was an actor. He had like 3 names, and the first one was Philip.
Seymour something.
Yeah, something like that.
Philip something Seymour. What something?
Yeah.
Seymour something. Yeah.
He overdosed.
Philip Seymour Hoffman. Yeah, no, they
Yes,
didn't
that
have,
was
Hoffman.
they didn't have
That's a
anything.
while
They
back.
didn't have anything to do with him.
I think they were friends.
They may have been friends, but a lot of people are friends in Hollywood.
close friends.
Yeah, but I mean, she wasn't. They weren't associated with him.
I don't know. I just knew that there was some sort of connection.
Well, some sort of connection. They knew each other.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a connection.
Well, that's as negative.
No,
as
when
I
you
can-
say that the actor who overdosed, what was their connection? Well, then you kind of think they had something to do with his death.
all I knew was that was the most negative thing I could come up with on the old.
That they knew Philip Seymour Hoffman. Oh, okay, yeah. Boy, when you come up with something like that, my wife today did something, and she said, so and so knew that actor. What's his name?
Yeah.
And I'm going, well, that certainly narrows it down. And I pointed this out to her that she didn't exactly give me a wide range of options to pick from.
Yeah.
But it's funny because she said that guy, and he was a priest on television, looks like that actor. And I'm thinking, this is a pretty broad element. But then I looked at him and I went, I'm trying to remember who the actor was now. And I named this actor, and she said, yeah, that's the one. And I went, how'd I know that? And she didn't give me any kind of real clue. She just had me look at the guy and say, who does he look like?
Charlie did a good job. I said Philip, and he got it. Oh, Seymour.
Philip. Now, what's the name of that actor? See, I just wait a minute. Hold on a second. He was in
Father Guido.
Capote.
Devil Wears Prada. As soon as I see the name, I'll go. Devil Wears Prada. Okay, Devil Wears.
Capote.
No, not Capote.
Philip Seymour Hoffman, we still talking about?
No, we're talking about Stanley Tucci. Stanley Tucci.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on the wrong track.
Oh yeah.
But he had moved on from Hoffman.
I had gone on to my wife going, hey, that actor.
Oh, I see. That's that guy.
That guy who was in that movie.
Yeah, that one.
There's actually a documentary called The Guy Who Was in That Thing. And it's all about actors who you've seen 8 billion times, but you really don't know their names.
That's sort of a family game in our house. Guys like, what the hell is the name of the old timer that there's an actor named Dabbs Greer that appears in a million things.
Yeah.
You know him by
Yeah.
face, but you don't know his name, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Our family plays that game all the time.
You had more of those in the old days because you had movies that were being manufactured like a factory, and so they would have all these actors on call who were the withs,
Yes.
Dabbs
They were the
Greer did
withs.
A bunch of Perry Masons.
Who?
Dabbs Greer. He was in a bunch of Perry Masons.
Perry
Oh,
Masons, yeah.
He was in Little House on the Prairie, too, believe it or not. He was the Reverend or something.
Yeah. So, I mean, these guys would do 80 gazillion movies, and they would just be on call. Hey, get so-and-so to be in there, and he was on the withs. They starring in so-and-so, so-and-so, with, and then all these names, and they were usually one of the names.
They made a good living being nobody, really.
Well, actually, they made a great living being nobody because they started when they were like, 25 and kept acting till they were 80.
Sure.
And they never went, they never had a career and then it died because they were so goddamn popular that you die, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so they did very well, those actors. Yeah.
Mhm.
I had a friend whose landlord was the guy who played Darren's boss in Bewitched. And I don't remember his name. He had a unique look, but he owned this unbelievable building in Beverly Hills. And, I guess he did well in acting and he did better in real estate.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I don't.
I want to. I'm sorry.
I remember his
Go.
name on.
well,
Bewitched.
I know that Biden is doing okay tonight because we don't only have 4 people here, plus me.
Yeah.
And I guess they're all watching the convention tonight. Because
It's on
I guess
tape for me.
tonight is the night to watch it,
Yeah.
huh?
Yeah, I got a text of
watching
Biden speaking
for a while.
right now.
Yeah, after it's over, I bet we start getting an influx of people. And, we have a decent amount of people watching, but not like we normally do. So I think that's what's going on. How
Jack
dare I go
Benny.
up against Biden? What?
Jack Benny for me, going back to the
Well,
original
Benny's
topic.
mine. Always.
You know what it is, Benny. For me, anyway, Benny. As a child, I kind of learned what timing was.
That's
you know,
right.
Like I learned
The
what
best.
comedic timing was. And frankly, when I got to be a teenager and watched Carson, I used to think Carson was like an homage to Benny.
Do you know?
Every
Do you
one of
know?
Carson's
Do you know what one of
tapes-
the jobs Carson had when he was at CBS?
No.
He was the summer replacement for Jack Benny
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
wow.
on radio.
He was a magician, right?
No, he did
Carson?
magic. When he was younger, he dabbled with magic. I dabbled
did
with
magic.
magic, but he idolized Benny. Absolutely idolized Benny, and I did too. I thought Benny was.
Yeah.
He remained my favorite comic from the time I was like 5 years old to the time pull to now. Okay.
And the thing was, Benny himself in his show, his television show, wasn't funny. Like all the great lines went to the guest star or
Yeah.
to Mel
Well,
Blanc.
let me explain.
or-
Let me explain something to you.
Who's the
Jack
backup
Benny
guy?
wasn't a comedian.
No.
Jack Benny was a clown.
Yes.
And the difference between a clown and a comedian is a comedian pulls jokes on people, and a clown has jokes pulled
Pulled
on
on.
him. And if
Yeah.
you look at Benny, he was always the butt of every big
Yes.
laugh.
Yes.
Okay, and that's a great ability to have because most comedians would like to be the one that's being laughed, is getting the laugh rather than
Sure.
the one who's being laughed at. Okay.
What was the name of the guy that showed up in so many shows that used to drive him crazy? Was it Frank Nelson?
Frank Nelson. He was
That
the one
guy
who
was
went,
amazing. I used
ooh,
to love that guy.
yes.
Yeah.
You know. And Benny had the greatest writers too. He they were precision writers. They knew the character. They wrote gags to that character, and it went on for who knows how many years. Forever and ever.
Or you got mail thing come from Benny, or where did you get that?
What?
When you would open up the mail on the show?
No. Why would it come from Benny?
Oh, it just sounded like that.
No, it wasn't Benny. No.
You get that, or did you make that up yourself?
No, that was out of a jingle package.
No, not just the jingle.
Letters. Oh, we get letters. We get your letters every day. Yeah, it was out of a jingle package
I see.
that you could buy. Yeah.
I liked when you did that.
You like that? Okay.
Yeah, when you open the letters, read the letters.
Yeah. But anyway, so Benny was mine. But I'll tell you what I saw today. I was watching, I love YouTube. That's my latest thing. I just get on YouTube and I just start watching endless things, one after another. And I saw something said interview with Bob Hope with Dick Cavett. So I put it on. It was a 90-minute episode. Dick Cavett did 90 minutes in those days.
Yep.
This thing lasted about an hour and 10 minutes without the commercials with Bob Hope. And it was maybe one of the most fascinating interviews I've ever seen with Bob Hope because there were moments in which he was entirely straight, not trying to tell jokes, but trying to tell. He was asked, like, where did you start out? And he talked about that. And it was one of the most revealing and nice interviews I've ever seen with Bob Hope. And if you get to see it, it's on YouTube. And I sat there and I went, you know, this is a guy that we would like to make fun of, because as he got older, he got, well, I'll show you what he got. Hold on a second. I've got it here. This is one of my people at Live 105 in San Francisco caught Bob Hope in the, I think it was either at some event or at the airport, I can't remember which, and got him to do a promo for me. Listen to him trying to do the promo.
He wants you to do a station promo.
What is it?
This is Bob Modern Rock Hope. You're listening to Alex
This is
Bennett.
Bob Modern Rock Hope, and you're listening to
Alex Bennett on Live
Alex
105.
Bennett on Live
105.
105.
Want to do it from the top? This is Bob Modern Rock Hope. You're listening to Alex Bennett Live 105.
Alex
Bennett.
Bennett. You're listening to Alex Bennett on Live 105.
Now, that is sad.
Yeah.
That is really sad. It was the only time that I had any brush with Bob Hope. Okay, I wasn't with him when that was recorded. We did take the thing and chop it up into a promo, but we loved playing that version of it more. And he, I think, was in his 90s by then.
Wow.
So I'm going in that direction.
Yeah.
And I can hardly wait till I get to that. Okay. But did you notice that for one moment he became Bob Hope?
Yes.
When he said Bob Hope. This is Modern Rock Hope. He did that lilt. And then he went right back to not being able to get the thing straight, you know. So.
Hey, you guys can take a drink. It looks like Billy Bob Jim Jackson says it was Heath Ledger was one of the Olsen twins allegedly gave him drugs. It was Heath
What?
Ledger.
One of the Olsen twins gave Ledger drugs?
That's what this Billy Bob Jim Joe Jackson wrote on the chat.
Really? Well, I don't believe him. And let's see, it was Heath Ledger, one of the Olsen twins, allegedly gave him drugs. Yeah, allegedly. Will you stop with that?
Yeah.
When you're accusing somebody of giving somebody drugs, you don't use the term allegedly. It is either true or it's not true, and allegedly is secondary defamation, and I won't put up with it. So,
Well, with
Billy
this-
Bob, you're getting put in a timeout. And by the way, I notice American Patriot is here tonight. I am removing American Patriot altogether
Why?
because he has been doing really racist things lately on that channel. And I just won't put up with it, you know. So,
Well, anyway, there's other information that maybe Philip Seymour Hoffman wasn't the friend.
well, to begin with, it wasn't Heath Ledger.
Huh.
You know,
And
I mean,
did they shove the drugs up his nose or down his throat or in his vein, or how did they get
They
to
did it at the same time they were doing a COVID-19 test, and
Yeah.
so it probably went up there with the Q-tip.
I did a lot of drugs in my days, and I did them. Nobody did them in me or for me.
I thought he OD'd on pills.
I don't know what kind of drugs.
Yeah, I thought they were pills. He took some pills or something that
Yeah.
didn't agree with him.
yeah.
Cocktails, though, right? When you're out partying, especially with that money, you're taking a lot of stuff.
By the way, if people are going to continue to do things like say allegedly or just put up rumors, okay,
Yeah.
I'm just going to kill the whole chat room, okay? It serves me no function on this show, and I'll kill the chat room. Hello, Tony. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze.
Hey, dude.
Hold on.
Oh,
Hey, Tony, did you cry tonight?
no, he was good. to me.
Hey, some of the stories, even though they've been over and over, you know, going through those stories is pretty tough sometimes.
Hey, listen, tell me, because I didn't see it now. You saw the Biden speech, all right? So tell us what went on.
Me or Brian?
Either one of you, both of you together, sing it. I don't care.
Brian, I thought he was solid, Brian. What did you think? He was well spoken.
It's what you expected. It's what you expected. You know,
was
he does
really
say he
tough
has
on
a.
Trump.
He said he has what?
He went after Trump. He was tough on Trump.
Yeah.
I think they're all going to be tough on Trump because Trump has been asking for it.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's not like he isn't acting the bully and asking for it. And he's going to get it in spades now. Nobody's going to sit back and take the kind of crap they've been putting up with out of him for the last 4 years. Yes, Brian.
I did not like the schedule. I did not like how they did it tonight, though. Julia Louis-Dreyfus was all these little zingers and jokes, and putting down the president by all these jokes is really sort of childish, I thought, tonight. It was different. The other nights were very, very professional.
Yeah.
And with her there, it was like Jokesville with her, and it wasn't. I didn't like it.
Well, that's what people expect out of her, but quite frankly, I think if she wanted to be, I mean, I didn't see it, but if she'd want to be kind of interesting, she should not be what everybody expects her to be.
Yeah.
You know, but to be very dead serious and say what she had to say.
Yeah, and it just sort of brought down to Trump's level, I think.
Well, Marjorie was watching a little bit, and I said, "How's Biden doing?" She says he isn't on yet, and this was like at about 25 of 11 here, and I went, "Why didn't they put him on earlier?" That's another kind of mistake. You know, I know he's going to be the last one on, but you know, it still when you get out to the West Coast, it's getting a little late, and you want that message to get across. Yes, Phil.
They couldn't wake him up.
They could have started everything at 5. They started everything at 6 every night. They could have started at 5.
I don't know what I don't. I'll tell you. I don't. I think Trump is making a big mistake by calling him Sleepy Joe. I just think it doesn't work. It really doesn't work. He's measured. He's quiet. He's a quiet man. But you know, Sleepy Joe, and then what's he calling Camilla now? Crafty Camilla, nasty Camilla.
Nasty.
I mean,
nasty.
Run your own game. Go out, tell people what you're going to do for the country. Tell them what you've already you believe you've done for the country already. Make your case that way. You don't have to call people names.
Yeah, no. When you're younger and single, you always had those guys who always had to put you down to try to get girls. When you just tell them how you are and you get them, you know. And that's how Trump is. He always wants to put everybody down, but he has no substance himself.
And you know what was funny? Listen to this. I was watching Trump speak today in Pennsylvania.
You're speaking to a couple of tractors.
Right, and listen to what he says, Alex. He goes like this. He was fear-mongering, like you said. And Phil, you can listen to what he says. He says, if you want rioting in the streets like Portland and cities burning, isn't that happening now under his watch?
Yes, right. Yes.
I mean, this guy said that stuff. And then, you know, my mother got upset, Alex. You know what he did? He took a photo op, not on me, on like the dais with mentally retarded children, like adults. And he's sitting there turning the kid around.
Could you tell them from Trump?
I mean, they don't know any better. You've got to tell me that's not phony, Phil. He's taking mentally retarded kids and using them as props.
Wouldn't it be really cool if you had an issue and you could actually meet the president? And, you know, I don't know that he's using them as props. I think it's pretty cool to meet the president. You know?
I think that's kind of tacky. Come on. These kids don't know what's going on.
What has he ever done for retarded children?
I don't know.
No, you don't, because he didn't do anything for retarded children.
He did something for water, you know. That guy.
That was mean. That, come on, he shouldn't do that.
Probably.
He was trying to making his thumbs up. Come on.
I was trying to think of the reasons that I like Trump, and you know, and I'm thinking, and I said, you know, it's his support for Israel, and his support of the Second Amendment. Those were, and you know, and his reduction of onerous, what do they call them, regulations. But for the most part, it's a support of Israel.
Well, actually, I can't remember what the thought was today. I wish I could recall it because I would love to get in an argument with you about that. But today it came to me that he really doesn't support Israel. That he says he supports Israel, but his actions haven't proven so.
Geez, I thought his actions were more than
he did something that was very against Israel's best interests. You know.
Oh, he sold a bunch of weapons to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saudi Arabia will probably be the next country that signs a peace agreement.
Well, they haven't yet, and they've got those arms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they've been friendly to the United States. I mean, and also they've been threatened.
No, they haven't been friendly to the United States. They killed one of our, I believe, Khashoggi by that time. Wasn't he a citizen?
Yeah.
Yeah, they killed an American citizen, and wait a minute, and this president didn't do anything about it.
And Trump said that he would get down to it and he would make sure that they paid the price, and he never did anything.
Well, I don't know what the deal was in actuality with Khashoggi. I know that they cut him up and put him in a briefcase.
Well, I think that's enough, don't you think? And by then he was, I think, was he an American citizen by that time?
Yes. So
I know that he was an American. He was writing for an American newspaper. Yeah.
He was working for an American paper, and he had the right to be in America. I don't know.
He had a green card.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he then was subject to the protection of the United States of America, and they went and killed him.
Yeah. No, those things.
But there was something about Israel today that I heard that the
UAE thing.
I can't remember what it was that I said. Gee, that's something that kind of nails Trump as not exactly being in Israel's corner.
I didn't hear anything about any negatives.
But anyway, I mean, I just think that, I just like to see him play his own game. Go out and just run for president, say what you've done or what you imagine you've done, okay? Brag about it all you want to, but just leave everybody out of the discourse, because I found that every time now that he's mentioning the Democrats, he's actually giving them free advertising. Yeah. It looks like he's bothered by them, and you don't want to look that way.
Now, I think I know what he did today. It had to do with the UN and putting these things called slapback sanctions on Iran, which the U.S. was allowed to do, and that will also work against China.
Why
and Russia.
is it he's doing all this stuff now?
Yep.
I don't know.
Oh, women, no, Phil, come on, be logical.
I'm not going to assume that he's doing it.
No. You don't have to assume. It's very obvious. I keep talking about your super in your building who around October answers your calls and comes and fixes stuff because the annual Christmas time tip is coming.
Well,
On Wall Street, it's known as window dressing. Mutual fund companies, right before a quarter ends, go out and buy shares of the hot stock so that they can claim that they had this stock and make it appear as though they had it all the while. But in the meantime, it's just window dressing. That's why it's called such.
Yeah.
Yes, everybody does that, don't they?
But to a point, I agree with you.
I mean, and somewhere along the line, he's bound to do something decent enough, I mean, just to get reelected. But that's all he cares about now. All he cares about is reelection. He doesn't care about the country, and that's the problem.
What politicians care about? And I know he said he's
he's a politician like any other, Phil.
Right.
He's in the process of wanting to get reelected. What do you call that?
Yeah, well, that's what they do.
I mean, he'll be out there kissing babies with the best of them.
The Democratic platform is promising everything free. The only thing they forgot to put in was two chickens in every pot. But if they would have thought of it, they would have put that in too.
Wait, Phil, I think, you know what I call him, Alex? He's John Gotti. You're going to sit there and tell me, Phil, with a straight face, Steve Bannon.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, Steve Bannon.
I don't know him. He was never really a part of my campaign.
I
may have taken a picture with him.
Yeah.
With Steve Bannon, as he said,
that for millions of dollars.
But I wish him the best of luck.
I wish him well.
And he didn't know any. You know what that was? That was the thank you for getting him into the White House. Come on.
If he stole that money, You know that.
That's got him. They
Didn't
were still on
steal
the
it.
boat.
Didn't he
But,
steal it? He
Uh,
didn't steal it?
well, he says he
Well,
did.
we don't know that. Look, let's be very fair. Man has to have a trial. It hasn't been proven that he
Yeah.
stole anything. He's been accused and arraigned for stealing money.
You're right. Yes,
And
sorry.
and
A
there
lot of
will be
money,
a
too.
trial, and he will either prove that he did or that he didn't. You know.
You know, I'm so tired of people being tried in the court of public opinion that.
No, I agree with you, Phil, on that one. I agree with you on that one. Yes, Charlie.
I heard something today. I don't know if it's true or not, but now Kellyanne Conway is the only person on Trump's election committee that has not been arrested.
Because her husband's an attorney.
She will be arrested for a bad facelift, actually.
Did she get a facelift? No.
It looked pretty
She did
good at
something.
first.
Yeah, I think she's her eyes are more.
Yeah, she
now.
did something. I
And
mean,
the same thing,
it's not me to criticize.
Well, I like her because I like her husband,
George.
who's one of the Lincoln Project.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing they've stayed together.
Who? What was Huckabee? Sarah Huckabee. She
Yeah.
got work done. Now her eyes aren't as crossed.
Yeah.
And
Now she's just ugly.
yeah, now she's just tough to look at.
you can't help what you look like. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Yes, you
But-
can. You can stay out of the public eye. That's one way. You
No,
know,
you
why did
can't-
I go into radio? I shouldn't even be doing this. This whole area in here should just be like blurred.
Yeah.
In fact, I could do it, but I'm not going to do it.
Does Zoom have the blur thing? Like,
No, I have the Zoom I have on make my face look better. It blurs it out a little bit. Well, if I go to my regular face, everybody stand by and get ready to scream. This is what you get. See how clean that is?
Sarah Huckabee. Wait.
Yeah, I look like Sarah Huckabee. But when you go back to this, okay, I'm looking okay.
Didn't see any difference.
Yeah, me neither.
Either.
There is, oddly enough. Yeah. It's you go up to that green thing up there. It's going to make my picture jump a little bit doing this. But you go to video, and then the third thing down is touch up my appearance.
Really,
Okay.
there's something you were using enhanced encryption.
What?
The green thing said I was using enhanced encryption.
Well, I am too. You are using enhanced encryption. So what? Who cares?
Well, that was what the green thing when I
No,
hovered
but
over-
also when you click on it, all this menu comes down, and the menu has video, and under video it says, make me look better than I really look like. For instance, Brian is looking for his, right, Brian?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now Brian is going to go click on it.
Oh,
see the
my
green?
wrinkles went away.
See?
Exactly. I've got oily skin, so I've been blessed with fewer wrinkles.
Yeah, well, actually, if you try that, if you try that, you look like Sarah Huckabee Sanders now.
You got the shots going.
Before. So,
Can't find
yeah.
the window.
yeah. This, oh God, how many more days do we have of this whole thing? This whole.
70 something.
76.
something.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
It's getting close.
Huh?
Enjoy-
It's getting close.
But then it's going to be scary.
Hmm?
It's going to be scary after that. We don't know
Well,
what's going to
here,
happen.
oh, I talked to my.
It's like the calm.
Oh, listen,
the calm before the storm.
I talked to my postman today. 'Cause I saw him and I said, okay, I'm sure everybody's asking, what's happening with the post office? He said, well, they threw out some mailboxes. He said, and they threw out sorting equipment. I said, can they then reinstall the sorting equipment? He said, no, because they were ordered to destroy it.
Wow.
Really?
So they can't reuse the sorting machines because they've been destroyed.
Yeah, the ones that are gone for
That guy
good.
is a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I saw one picture and they're all strapped, they're all like caution taped around, but however the sorting machines are, they were all just piled up like in a block, all just scrunched together.
Well, I got a thing here. This is for you. I got a thing. Where is it? Here we go. Comment. This is from RS R-S-C-H-R-E-C-E-K. I don't know how you would pronounce that, okay? It says, I live right by Brian's mailbox. And I noticed that one day later, after you removed the tape from that mailbox,
Tape.
or allegedly removed the tape from that mailbox, it once again was covered with plastic and blue tape.
Ooh, I'll be right back.
You know what I thought about? What about the people?
Give me 5 minutes.
What about the people that put mail in that mailbox that is going to be destroyed?
Well, that's what I thought. That's what I thought the bag was. I thought the bag was to make sure people don't put mail in, so they can take that one out. But like you guys say, usually they should have some kind of more official lock on there. Because when I drove around, the other side is one of those flip-up things, and they had that painter's tape sort of crossed around there too. But it's nothing official. Looks like.
So you had the opening on both sides, so you could be in a car and put it in there, or you could.
Or you could walk up.
Or you could walk up and put it.
Ryan, did it have blue tape in a clear bag?
Yes.
That's official.
Well, tomorrow, tomorrow,
USPS Blue.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we've got this Postmaster General is going to be alleged Postmaster General is going to be speaking before Congress tomorrow.
Yep.
And then on Monday it's the Senate.
The Senate.
Yeah, which Trump complained about. However, he didn't complain about the fact that the Senate asked him to appear, and it was the Republicans who control the Senate.
Yeah.
So but he's going to have to answer a lot of questions, including the one I heard something today that he was trying to buy the post office.
He turned one of them into a hotel.
Yeah, no, but he wanted this to be a he wanted to buy the post office department.
Trump?
Yeah.
Trump? Or
No, not Trump. This guy.
DeJoy.
DeJoy.
Louis DeJoy.
Where would you get the money to buy the fucking postals? That's, how much money would that cost?
I don't know. They're losing like $75 billion. So
They're not supposed to be making money.
Why not?
Because it's not a fucking business.
They aren't really losing money.
To begin with, Phil,
because they have to pay 75 years of retirement.
what is it, Phil? What is the post office?
The post office was started by Benjamin.
I know, but what is it considered to be?
A quasi-private government.
No.
Oh.
No.
Service.
It's a
Service.
government institution.
It's a service.
Yeah.
Well, I perform a service, and I like to make money when I do it.
Yeah, but by your logic, then we have to disband the.
And by the way, on last night's show, you said the first thing I learned in business is that you don't go into business to lose money. That if you lose money, that's not a good thing, and if you make money, if you make more money than you spend, that's a good thing.
Yeah,
I hate to tell you, but your theory is old theory, because guess who has never made a penny?
Jeff Bezos.
Amazon.
Yeah.
No, they're making money.
Amazon has never made a buck.
Usually, some people invest for the future.
They apply all the money they make back into the company.
Sounds like money.
So far, he is yet to make a profit with Amazon, and that has been his theory of operating, and that's been the theory of operating for a lot of companies these days.
So how do
you? You don't have any profits, you don't pay any taxes.
No, wait a minute.
That's why they don't pay any taxes.
And he's only split one time.
If he didn't make any money.
We couldn't hear you, Phil. Say that again.
How did he become the richest man in the world if he didn't make any money?
Because you get a stock dividend on the company, and you also get paid money by the company to be the head of it. It's not that the company doesn't make a lot of money. It's just that at the end of the day, they don't make a profit.
Well, I don't leave a lot of money in my company either, because I have to pay. I take it as a dividend, or I take it as income.
But you take a dividend. You get a dividend. You get income of maybe, let's say, $35 a week, and that's pretty much the profit from your company.
Every 2 weeks, Alex. But the thing is, even as a corporation, I can only leave so much money in the corporation without.
Phil, you're not dealing with just a normal corporation. You're dealing with a multi-billion-dollar corporation here.
Smaller, but they, that's why they have dividends. And
but your theory of business is not the theory today of business. Business as a whole.
Go out of business really quickly. Robert wants to say something.
Yes, Robert.
I had a late cousin. I have a late cousin who was a low-level executive with USPS, and we, back in the early 90s, we got to talking after a softball game over a couple of beers, and we were teasing him that his job was going to float away because of the advent of email and the advent of no one writing letters anymore.
The people said that.
And he gave us a lecture that night, which always stuck with me. He said, you know what you people don't realize, because we live in a metropolitan area, is that there are still areas in the country that USPS delivers to that the other carriers won't bother with because it's not profitable. And he said for years, Republican forces have tried to privatize the U.S. mail service in order to make it profitable. And the first thing you're going to notice is that the farmer out in bumfuck Iowa isn't going to get his mail delivered because private concerns are simply aligned with the bottom line. Whereas the United States Post Office as a service is required to take your mail to wherever it is that you put on the envelope. And that always stuck with me.
But you know what hurt the post office too was the internet, because everybody started paying their bills via online.
Okay. Absolutely.
Yeah, really
absolutely. They started with less first-class mail. Now a lot of their mail is what we call junk mail. But they still turn a lot of business.
Almost everything I mail.
Well, that's different.
Is priority mail. When this is almost $8, I think, or $8 and change. I got to mail it tomorrow, put the labels on. But the thing is, almost everything I mail through the post office, except checks, are that, and they're making money on those.
Okay, but let's for a moment talk about what's happened to the post office in the last couple of weeks with this DeJoy. I mean, the post office, they seem to think that the only thing the post office does is mail in ballots, which, if it did happen nationally, would only be 5% of their volume. Only 5% of their volume. That the people who are being hurt most by these cutbacks at the post office are people like veterans who get their prescription drugs through the mail, who say their prescription drugs are a couple of weeks late and they need them now.
I get mine.
Like we don't care about you, Phil. We care about the veterans.
Yeah, but I get my drugs through the mail. My legal drugs. And what they do is, they mail it. I get it quickly. I don't see these delays.
But there are a lot of veterans now who are complaining that their drugs aren't coming on time. Yes, Charlie.
Yeah, the last prescription I got in the mail, they told me they mailed it on Wednesday, week before last, and I didn't get it until Wednesday today, or yesterday. It does not usually take 2 weeks for me to get my prescription drugs from when they tell me they mailed it.
Basically, you get it overnight, right? Or close to overnight.
Or a couple of days at the most.
Yeah. So a lot of people are being hurt by this, and it's very obvious why it was done. It was done to sit there and give validation to Trump's alleging that voting by mail is corrupted and terrible and won't work.
I don't agree.
Because he doesn't care who he hurts. It's all about him.
Phil, don't you find it odd that the president made these allegations, and then all of a sudden the post office starts pulling post office boxes and tearing apart sorting machines and so on? Don't you find that a little too coincidental?
No, but we're going to find out when DeJoy speaks with the Congress, if they give him a chance to speak. But we'll find out what the truth is. You know,
And
I don't
Taylor,
see-
they spoke before Congress. Didn't do them any good.
Well, yeah. What do you mean we're going to find out what the truth is from DeJoy? I don't think so.
Yes.
I don't think
You know,
so.
no, I was referring to like when Barr spoke to Congress and they wouldn't let him answer a question. They just berated him.
No, but they did. No, they had to rein Barr in, because what Barr does in those hearings is he filibusters, so that when you ask him a question, he will then take a 1 minute question and turn it into a 10-minute dissertation, trying to play the clock out.
They didn't give him 1 second to do a dissertation. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Well, I think yes or no is a good answer. Yes. What?
Barr wasn't under oath either. You know that?
Here voluntarily.
Yeah, but he should have been put under oath. He should have been subpoenaed.
I don't
put under oath.
You know, he wanted to answer the question.
No, he didn't. Not under oath.
Oh.
And if he was going to give a truthful answer, why didn't he want to be under oath?
Even if he's not under oath, does he have to tell the truth to Congress?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so it wouldn't matter whether he was under oath or he wasn't under oath. If he was there and he was speaking to Congress, I thought you had to tell the truth that it was.
And be held in contempt.
Yeah.
No, but if you're under oath, that's a crime.
That's perjury.
But isn't perjury even if you're not under oath to Congress?
No.
So I can go there and say I'm good looking, or you know.
We have to accept it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, it's a real clusterfuck what's going on, and this postman just said, you know, he said they've been tearing apart those machines, and he said, Marjorie said to him, well, I mean, can they put them back into service? He says, no, they've all been destroyed. Now, why are we destroying them, Phil? Give me that answer.
Plus, you see, we're not destroying the federal buildings, so what we're doing is destroying other
Phil,
federal property.
Phil, don't go there.
like
Don't
all
go
the
there.
other
You're not answering the question, Phil.
What do you mean? Is it wrong to destroy it? No, not if it was originally the plan to reduce the machines because of the cost-cutting measures. That's what I'm saying.
But why destroy the machines?
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to.
Either obsolete or
No. These are working sorting machines that yesterday were working, and today they no longer exist.
They may have, you know, they may be antiques.
Well,
And
Phil, you're
gonna bring
Phil,
in new digital sorting machines
Phil,
instead of.
I
when? Before the election?
I think what DeJoy said was this was planned months ago.
Where's the plan?
Months ago.
Come on.
Yeah, we should hear the plan when he speaks then, because he should be laying out all this saying, this is what we had planned. We had agreed to this. We had agreed to this.
That's what I want to hear. That's what I want to hear.
And if you don't hear that, then you agree that this was done because of Trump.
It's not a this for that, but
So how long has he been there? He's only been there for a couple of months.
I know, it's like the first thing he did. Sorry, unplugging everything.
You know, I might be suspicious and agrees in part with what you guys are saying if he doesn't say it. But on the other hand, I don't know that Congress is going to let him speak based on their actions in the past.
Oh, it's Congress's fault.
Yeah.
This is
well, you know, I'll tell you. Did Barr go before the Senate as well? I believe he did.
Oh, Biden?
Barr.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. The trouble is when they go to the Senate, it's a bunch of speech making by the Republicans. It doesn't give the person time to answer.
There were a few Republicans that were asking probing questions.
No.
Barr?
No, they were giving. Did the Senate?
When he got confirmed for his confirmation.
Mm-hmm. But they all give these speeches about this is what America should be, and thank you so much for doing this for America, and blah 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 blah, and it goes on for like
basketball team doing shit like that.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, it goes on for 15 minutes. Hello, Jeff. Jeff hasn't said a word tonight. Is there a reason?
Because muted? No, I don't think he's muted.
No, I'm on.
Yeah.
I don't trust Trump, and you know, anybody else who does, you're crazy.
Good one, Jeff. That's a good one.
Very succinct.
Good night, everyone.
He summed it up, I guess. I guess that was the big summation that we wanted for the evening.
That's the October surprise.
Yeah. You
Early.
think there's going to be an October surprise?
Yeah, well, they're wielding out Bannon. That was one of the, they're trying. You see, Bannon was a real help to Trump's campaign in 2016. So if you can cripple Bannon by bringing him up on charges with the Southern District of New York, that will, in essence, keep him away from Trump's campaign. And so what they're doing, the Southern District, is even if
okay, Phil. So you're the guy who said he should be innocent until proven guilty, and now you're sitting there proclaiming his innocence.
Well, no.
Without benefit of a trial.
But I'm saying that what Southern District did was it hampered the Trump campaign because now he can't use Bannon's expertise.
He could use him. He could use him.
I think he's going to have to be clear of him.
Well, because he never met him before.
Oh, no,
he never met him.
Anybody who has worked with Trump has to get arrested now because he needs time to be able to pardon him.
Yeah, well,
was somebody from the Southern District
wait a
set up
minute.
that website?
Charlie has been waving his hand for the last 5 minutes. Charlie?
All right, Charlie.
Yeah, because I wanted to point out that there's two reasons why Trump does not want voting by mail. One of the reasons is that they cannot change the vote. They cannot, God, what's the word? What?
The stamp?
Manipulate.
No, they can't. They have a paper trail. They cannot change the vote because you have the paper votes, so you can go back and count it again and get the right count. So that's one reason. And the other reason is when you vote by mail, you can vote up to 4 weeks before the election. And they have an October surprise, just like when Comey came out, 5 days before the election with his surprise. Well, that's going to be too late if everybody votes by mail.
Right, yeah.
The vote will already be in.
So a lot of people are going to be voting by the feeling and the prejudices and beliefs that they have right now, as opposed to maybe what might be going on 4 weeks from now.
It's simple football. If you're behind in the game, you don't want the clock to run faster. As much time as you can to catch up.
Yeah.
I don't.
Wait a minute. John Larkin has his hand up.
I can't believe there's anybody in this country that hasn't made up their mind yet. So no matter what kind of bullshit they pull at the last second, it ain't going to change anybody's mind.
I agree.
I think so too.
Well, just like Jeff said, they're all out of their mind.
Do you think people already have their minds made up? I mean, do you think the election is already set in stone?
Yeah, I can't see too many people that either hate Trump or they love him. I haven't seen them.
I just see that young Democratic voters, the Bernie bros, they're not going to come out. And, if they continue to say that Biden's ahead in the polls, they won't have a reason.
I think Bernie has handled that well, better than he did back with Hillary. Because I don't think he really felt anything good about Hillary. His speech the other night was one that would make the Bernie bros go out and vote for Biden.
Yeah. I have my own personal little poll. It's strictly unofficial, but my own little poll is I notice that I can name a handful of acquaintances who voted for Trump in 2016 that refused to do so in 2020. I know no one who voted for Hillary in 2016 who's flipped over to Trump's side. That's just an unofficial feeling I get. That there are flips one way, but not so much the other.
We'll see.
Well, I mean, Hillary was not a good candidate. I mean, the only reason I was for Hillary is because she wasn't Trump. But I don't know that if I were just on my own, I would be having a visceral sense of it that I would want to go out and vote for Hillary. But Biden is somebody I can vote for. I like the guy. I think he's okay. I don't think he's going to make a great president, but I don't think he's going to make a bad president. And I think he's going to be, whatever he does, he's going to be doing for the country and out of a sense of duty and not out of a sense of self. Yes, Phil.
The polls are saying that more people are voting for Biden because they don't like Trump than the fact that they like Biden.
They're right.
And so now whether they actually vote
the question
or not,
is, Phil, isn't that the case with most elections? That most people vote for the person they want to vote for because they don't want the other one to get in.
But I think that a lot of people that are going to vote Trump are because they like Trump and they want Trump to win.
I have no idea, Phil. I have no idea, and you've never been able to give me any insight as to why anybody would think Trump is a good idea. Not after what he's done. He has not been an active, decent president. Okay? He has not watched out for the American public. Under his watch, we're about ready to hit what, 70,000?
Yeah. We're over 170.
Yeah.
We're over 170, then we're heading towards 175,000 deaths from corona. And he did not manage this thing. What?
10% what was predicted.
He didn't. Phil, don't give me that bullshit, because what you point out was that was an estimate that was given if we did nothing.
So what he did resulted in 90% less deaths.
He didn't do anything, Phil. The states, listen to him. He said, I'm leaving it up to the states, which meant he wasn't going to do anything, and the states were on their own to do it.
Bill, if you had if you had an employee who, when a problem arose, said, well, it's China's fault, it's not my responsibility, you would fire that person. You want a person who's not going to look to ascribe blame to the situation. You're going to hire somebody who's going to look at a problem and say, well, so much for blame for now. What are the solutions to the problem? That's who you're going to hire, not somebody that's just going to say, well, I found the blame, therefore I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Robert, where can I hire that guy?
It was China carpet. It wasn't U.S. carpet, boss.
You do hire the president, Phil. He's my employee.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I'm talking about my store.
But I mean,
your store, if a person had a problem, you want them to solve it. You don't want them to sit there and tell you what the blame is.
I do want them to solve it, but unfortunately, most people.
But you don't want a president. You don't want a president who cares about the people above and beyond anything else, even above self.
Yeah. Let me say this. Let me say this.
Yeah.
I never liked Bush. I never voted for him or anything like that. But I've always been a Democrat. But after 9/11, I really, when the way he brought the country together and what he said, I thought he did a great job. And what Trump has not been able to do is bring us together after this horrible fucking pandemic. He's done nothing but just blame everybody else and brag about what a great job he's done. And that's his biggest failure, I think.
Yeah.
And Joe has a lot of empathy because of the life he's gone through and helping the certain groups that he has during his career. That's why I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Joe had a stuttering problem too.
All we want is somebody who cares more about the country than themselves. That's all we want, Phil. And with Trump, we don't have that feeling. There's no patriotism in Trump. Are you kidding me? Outside of his jingoistic "Make America Great Again,"
Made in China. Those hats made in China.
With the hats made in China.
They got a picture of Biden. He looks like he's a puff of smoke here.
That's not Biden. That's
Bob Barker.
No, Biden.
That's O'Connell.
It does look like Bob Barker, though.
Looks like O'Connell, like if he was starving in the desert.
It's a Donald Trump ad to hit 1 million responses. Official Trump versus Biden poll. Yeah. Oh my God. This is.
I gotta say though, I don't know why Trump is against TikTok, because I put TikTok on my phone and I've been watching it, and there's a lot of pro-Trump funny shit on there. I don't know where it's coming from. A lot of hot chicks.
You know why he doesn't like TikTok? I'll tell you why. No, I'll tell you why he doesn't like TikTok. Anybody have an idea?
I know what they did.
Huh?
they got the tickets from him.
Somebody who uses TikTok exclusively, Sarah Cooper.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He doesn't like it because he is being vilified and laughed at on TikTok.
Now, around the world.
Have you seen Sarah Cooper, Phil? Have you seen Sarah Cooper, Phil?
No.
Oh,
Around the world.
Well, then go watch Sarah Cooper and you'll see why he's after TikTok.
Well, I haven't downloaded that app, but
You don't have to.
You don't have to. You can go to YouTube. They're there as well.
The UK and I believe Australia have also banned TikTok. Now, is it because they love Trump? I doubt it. It's because the app is supposedly spying on our personal information.
I know. That's why I signed up under Kardashian.
Yes, but they can still get all your, well, not that you have any friends, but if you did have some friends, they could find them on.
Who else banned TikTok?
I believe it was the UK and Australia.
UK bans TikTok. Let me see here. UK bans TikTok.
I signed up TikTok under Phil Meyer.
That would mean I have friends.
Phyllis Meyer with the hormones.
Yeah.
Is TikTok getting banned in the UK? There is no suggestion currently if the UK could ban TikTok. Social media consultant Mac Navarra told The Sun, just because the US is considering banning TikTok doesn't mean the UK will follow. Okay?
Everybody drink.
The things I heard. What about Australia?
Okay, Australia.
There you go. Get it ready. Round two.
I hear them things.
No, you hear things, but you don't go investigate them.
I have not. How can you investigate while you're driving?
You must sit in the office all day surfing the web.
TikTok won't be banned in Australia.
Oh, but they were talking about banning it, weren't
No,
they?
Phil, you said they were banned in Australia.
All right. Well, when I heard the story, they were talking, or they were going to ban it.
They will not ban TikTok, despite concerns that it has been infiltrated by China's communist government, according to a leading tech expert. India last week banned TikTok, saying the Chinese company poses a threat to the sovereignty and integrity.
India did.
So everybody have a drink. In fact, have two drinks because he was wrong twice.
No, but India has more population.
No,
than
you were wrong. Say you were wrong, Phil. Say you were wrong. Say you were wrong. Say, ladies and gentlemen who are watching GabNet, I made a mistake.
Okay, I made a mistake on UK and Australia, but
well, that was a pretty big mistake, and you didn't get India, which was the biggie. If you'd said India, you would have at least only had.
But unbeknownst to me, I was right because it was India.
I'm pulling a muscle here, trying to remember what the point of this was.
We were talking about TikTok, but then the other thing that is getting banned around is Huawei. Canada said that Huawei had spy software in their equipment, and I believe the UK and Australia have also banned Huawei. You want to look that one up, Big Al?
I don't have time because we're running out of time.
Time for the Rambleette.
Yeah. Why don't you call over to Jack? Why don't you call over to Jack and say this crap? Okay.
Because he believe it.
Hey, thank you, Phil. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. I'll get to you in a second, young lady. Thank you, John Larkin. Thank you to Tony, and thank you to Bree, who hasn't been there for a couple of minutes. And hey, Adrian.
Bree. Hey.
Say goodbye to your father. Say goodbye. Say goodbye to your daddy. We have to say goodbye to him and everybody else. Oh, you're making funny faces. You're silly. That's a silly daughter you have there. Yeah. Anyway, everybody give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye back at you, okay? There they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel, and with Adrian. She always makes a last-minute cameo appearance on the program. And thank you so much for joining us. Jack Bishop is next. He's here with The Intersection. He'll be taking your calls using Skype, okay? So if you have Skype, get it ready, get it fired up, and get fired up to talk to Jack about just almost anything, okay? In the meantime, I'll see you back here again tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. And in the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her. And by the way, stay safe out there. Yes. And you know what to do. If you're going to stay safe, you got to do it by wearing a mask, okay? Good night, everybody.